Welcome back to Inside Africa. We wanted to get some additional perspective on UNAMID and its commander, General Martin Agwai, from someone who has closely followed the Darfur crisis from the very beginning. I went through some of the general's key points with human rights activist John Prendergast of the Enough Project.
The remnants of genocide is genocide. Basically, that genocide, the convention does not say there has to be hundreds of thousands of people being killed every week. It says basically that if the conditions that bring about the destruction of life of a particular group of people in whole or in part pertains, then one can make the case for genocide. And in the case of Sudan, the first phase of the genocide was the ethnic cleansing campaign, where millions of people were displaced from their villages and hundreds of thousands died as a result of that. Now we're in the second phase. The villages have been burned. There aren't any more villages to burn of the people that are from those communities that support the opposition. So they're now living in camps. They're hemmed in these camps. And the government of Sudan is turning the aid tap on and off, demoralizing people. And they're continuing to support the Janjaweed militias, which are carrying out a policy of rape as a tool of war and as a tool of social control. In our view, that constitutes genocidal actions by the government of Sudan. It's not widespread killing, but that's not the point.
General Agwai said to me in our, in our conversation that you cannot pursue the twin tracks, or one should not, to be more accurate, pursue the twin tracks of peace and justice simultaneously. What's your view on that?
I think that's a fundamental misreading of how you make peace. Peace is impossible without some form of justice. The most important thing I think that countries can do that are signatories of the ICC is say that it matters that justice is served. But in the meantime, as part of the ICC charter, if peace can be promoted, if peace can be furthered by a suspension of that case, if, in other words, President Bashir signs a peace deal with the Darfurian opposition and begins to implement it, then the Security Council can go back within the context of the Charter of the International Criminal Court and suspend his indictment.
We know that the deployment of troops has been painfully slow. We know that the transport helicopters basically haven't been pledged. In your view, what has that meant for this UN peacekeeping mission in terms of it meeting its mandate?
Yeah, this is a failure not of the peacekeeping mission. This is a failure of the United Nations Security Council. As the general said, that they sent the peacekeeping force out to Darfur without having made a peace to keep. The world simply hasn't done all that it needs to do to construct that peace process. So into the breach, into this vacuum, is sent a small contingent of troops in this vast terrain in the Sahara Desert without the right equipment, without a clear mandate of civilian protection and the means by which to protect civilians, and people say that the peacekeeping force has failed. Well, the United Nations Security Council has failed, and that means China, Russia, the United States, Britain, and France as the permanent members.
Of course, Inside Africa will continue to closely follow this story. We all eagerly await the completion of the Obama administration's policy review on Sudan. And there we must leave it. You can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/InsideAfrica, and be sure to tune in next week for a brand new show. Thanks for watching.